the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sam Dobie hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski going dives on the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's out. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. You know, it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the left car and around those at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Willie Brad curb. Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. The beauty as his right side will clip the grass. Oh, a 180. No, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of slow picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
Steve Bycroft has become the first driver this season to beat Gernot on track in the Sunday races. Though it's only a small step toward the field catching up, it's at least a step. However, while the Nordschleife was challenging for how large it was, Oulton Park offers the opposite problem. A small, short track without much space to get away from one another should create some uncomfortable situations. We'll see who is able to make room as we get ready to watch round 9 of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Mick Claridge. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Oulton Park has hosted Formula One in the past, but not the Lotus 79. As you'd expect, this track makes for a wild combination with this incredible machine. Let's head down to the track guide so that you can see firsthand how fast a lap is.
All right, we've got Juha Noralampi and the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Oulton Park. Old Hall Corner is deceptive, and you'll want to late apex it, or else you'll push wide on the exit. Coming off the corner, you can use a bit of the AstroTurf, but not a lot. Up to Ditton's, this little kink makes the entry to Cascades pretty blind. Knowing how to line up your car will be crucial for a great run through this left-hander. And honestly, a good launch from here will be pretty important to your lap time in general, since it's flat out from here to the Shell hairpin. There'll be no lifting around the frighteningly fast Island Bend. Heavy braking into the hairpin means you can expect to see a few pass attempts. But despite the banking, making moves around the outside rarely pans out. It's another long, fast run after this, so make sure you're confident getting on the gas. We're bypassing the Britain chicane in this layout, hopping up and over the crest where you can really tell how bumpy this track is. Let it drift off to the left and get ready for Knickerbrook. Fling it through here as fast as you dare, but don't clip that inside curb too hard. No time to rest because you're immediately climbing up through Clay Hill and then Water Tower. It'll take some bravery to get the car through Druids properly with its double apex and crested exit. When it goes wrong here, it goes wrong fast. After that, it's down to Lodge, where it's a surprisingly slow corner compared to the rest of the circuit. The track falls away coming off of it, so be careful with the power. From there, straight line deer leap, and if you kept it together, you've now finished a lap around Oulton Park.
See just how many very fast corners that we have around here. Mick, this, I'll be honest, this is not my favorite to drive, but I love watching races around here.
No, this is one of my favorites, Joe. Oulton Park, it's a mini Nürburgring, isn't it? It just feels exactly the same. It's just, there's no width to the place. Really hard to pass at this place, no matter what car you're driving. There's a real couple of danger zones on this place as well. Knickerbrook is one of the major ones I always look out for at the end of the straight. It's actually a passing zone there. Yeah, we can have a look at the details and the layout if we like. It's about 2.8 miles, about 4.5 kilometres, 12 turns, 35 laps today. It's a nice race distance these guys always run. 35 laps is enough to have a good old battle, good old ding dong all the way through the field. So yeah, really looking forward to this one today, Joe.
I am as well, and let's take a look at that championship as you'd expect with Only one driver having managed to beat him on track. Gernot Friesche is leading the way by quite a bit, almost a full win over Matt Wood. Bycroft was the one to beat him, though, at the Nürburgring, and he's been quick this week. The question is, can he qualify ahead, or at least directly behind Gernot to be able to challenge him? Then Sergio Fernandez and Nicola Cocci a long ways back there in 4th and 5th. And in case we have new viewers, Mick, why don't you go over the race details for our audience today?
Yep, certainly will, Joe. Round 9 of 12. We're getting to the end of the season now. That's gone quick. As I said before, 35 laps. Nice distance for the guys to run. Open setup, you can see there. Everything's changeable on these cars, including the wings, downforce levels, cambers, tyre pressures, you name it, you can change it. Incident limits, quite interesting. They're changing this season, as we know. 17x. If you get an off track, you get 1x. If you hit someone, you get 4x, and it all adds up. You get 70 of those, you get a drive-through penalty. You get 25 of those, you get disqualified.
Something to watch out for, although not many drivers will be able to get too many incidents around here without finding themselves in the wall. We've also got a Teams Championship. They call this the Classic Teams Championship since it mimics that 1978 season. And right now, Tyrrell leads the way. Wolf Racing is only 15 points behind. That's not a huge gap. Same thing there with the Bravo team, which is actually only 2 points separated from Ferrari, from 3rd to 4th. Usually Ferrari, one of the quicker teams out here in this series. Now, the Arrows team, about 10 points back there from the Ferrari team in 5th place, so they've got a little bit of ground to make up. Certainly could try and switch their position up higher after today is over. Right now, qualifying is happening, and I see Steve Bycroft on the provisional pole. Is Gernot even here with us? Yes, he is. He's yet to set his first time. So he's actually out on that lap right now. While we watch that, we have our pit reporter with us here once again. Urka Lindstrom joins us. Urka, I'm sure you've got plenty of experience out in these open wheel cars at this track. If you could give any tips to the drivers, what would you tell them?
Yes, Joe. This track is very tricky. If you do even a small mistake, you will find yourself in the barriers. So I would say keep it calm and stay safe out there. But of course, if you're not pushing, you're not going to make any good results. So it's hard to say. But yeah, I'm looking for a very exciting race.
See, Friesche on his first lap is quick, but he is 3/100ths off of Steve Bycroft. Mick, we got a race on our hands.
Yeah, I wouldn't speak too soon, Joe. This happened in the last race. Steve was really quick, didn't quite get pole or even provisional pole, but Gernot did go a little tiny bit faster on his second lap, so it'd be really interesting to see if he can do that now. Just watching Sam Doby on screen there.
We're going to watch Chris Baumann, who also had an off-track somewhere on his first lap, so he really needs to get this one in. The lap's going by so quickly. He has time because we've got about 2 minutes left here, so really shouldn't see too many drivers run out of an opportunity to get a lap down. Biatch driver out and across Deerleap here. Let's see what he can get in, because he's usually quick. A 14.4, that's actually going to put him in his 7th place. Not as high as we're used to, but not bad. Friesche now coming out of Lodge and over Deerleap himself. 3/100ths, all he has to make up. Can he do it? He does, and that is going to put him to the pole by 2/100ths over Steve Bycroft. You were right, Mick.
Yeah, well, that's an even bigger gap than the last race, if you can believe that.
Lance Simon is well looking to set his first lap time, and I don't think he's going to get a second one in. Yeah, he's only going to get this one lap. So as we've switched over to John Stevens, looks like Simon actually didn't set a lap there, so he's going to start from back. Stevens also on a bit of a slower lap here, so something must have happened. Chris Baumann, I think, has just enough. Well, no, he's actually he's finished his second lap, so yeah, he's done. I think that might be everybody who can complete a lap. Butelaar has already run his 2 laps. So yeah, that should be everybody except for Sam Doby. Doby's the only one who should be able to complete his second lap, but he looks a little slow here. So I'm not sure that he'll be able to really run a decent one. Yeah, he's just cruising along. I think maybe he wants to start from the back of the field here as he pulls over to the side before this second lap is even over. That's going to be it for our qualifying. Let's go through that starting order for today. On the pole, it's going to be Gernot Friesche by the smallest of margins over Steve Bycroft, but Bycroft's been quick in the races. Can he maybe have better pace over the long run? Peter Konietzki, don't count him out. He'll be starting from third, but he's about half second back. Still, if those two tangle, he could snatch things up. Matt Wood, only fourth for him today. Julien Fleuret starts in P5. Martin Granberg was good in the warm-up before they got into this session. He starts sixth. Chris Bauman, as we said, a little bit under the gun, starting from 7th. Teemu Väskälahti, P8 for him, with Robert Plumley in 9th and Alessandro Parigi rounding out your top 10.
John Stevens in 11th there, Pablo Suarez in 12th, Barry West, UK driver in 13th. He got disconnected last race due to the weather here, I think. Steve Stiles in 14th there, Keith Herner in 15th, Robert Simpkins in 16th, Daniel Banker in 17th, David Butelaar in 18th, Joe Bradley 19th, Johnny Bell rounds up the top 20.
21st goes to Todd Herner with Paul Ferrer in 22nd position. Charlie Needham will be starting 23rd, and Sam Doby, as we mentioned, the last driver to get time in 24th. Adnan Nistorevich, Lance Simon, Nate Brooker, and Lauren Doolittle are 4 drivers that did not set a time, will be gridded at the back according to their starting or their iRating. So as we watch the field start to grid up, again, going to be 35 laps that they will have to compete around here. They will catch that lap traffic quickly, and then it will be a conveyor belt. Just waiting on Fleuret and Stevens to find their way out to the grid. Then we can go racing. Looks like Stevens has plopped his car on the pavement. Julien Fleuret just doing the last little bits of adjustment to make sure that he is happy with how his setup is. Everybody's out there, so the engines start to rev as the lights come up. It is round 9 here today at Oulton Park. Green flag is out off the line. Gernot Friesche is strong. No challenge from Bycroft, but already Matt Wood slips into third. It's a horrible start for Konietzki. He's going to fall back to 5th because Julien Fleuret manages to get by. Behind him, watching to see if everybody is clean through Old Hall, and it looks like we're good.
Yeah, nice clean start by everyone there. Still looking for any incidents, but nothing happening there. But yeah, what a start by Gernot. There's a spinner at the back. It's David Butelaar there. Just a half spin there, looks like.
Yeah, he and Paul Ferrer, unfortunately, off at Cascades, already the field heading through Shell Oil. Butelaar, one of our newer drivers in the series. So not surprised to see him have a little bit of a trouble at the start. Stretching out up at the front, you can see we've got a bit of a gap forming back from what looks like our top 3. That is Julien Fleuret, who's fallen back from Wood. So currently the podium finding themselves a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, just looking at the pit lane. Sam Doby's in the pit lane now. He got caught up in that incident. Looks like a bit of suspension damage. I think his day's done.
Down and through one of the other rare passing spots that you can find around this track. Most everybody pretty single file already as they complete the first lap. No action into Lodge. We're keeping an eye on this top group as they swing around the Cascades for the second time. Showing patience for now, Steve Bycroft giving chase on Gernot Friesche. We saw in the last race, Mick, that he seemed to be quicker over the long run. I wonder if Gernot has done a few tweaks on his setup.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Joe, Gernot seemed to be quicker in the start of the race, and he actually pulled out a gap of around 5 seconds. It was quite a big gap, but Steve was battling with Matt. It all depends how good Steve's now. Now he's clear of Matt and clear and able to follow Gernot. It'd be interesting to see if he can catch up and keep those lap times. Looks like they're really nice through there now. Just watching them as they went down the back straight myself there, it just scares me. That's why I paused. I thought he was going to lose there on the exit, but yeah, nicely through there.
sounds like Plumley's lost a position here as Barry West maybe is not through. No, maybe the reverse of that. So I look and see what happened to Plumley. Oh, Plumley had a big off. Yeah, this was down at Knickerbrook. This might be something we want to replay on.
Yeah, a bit of understeer there, Joe. That's the only reason why this layout isn't used anymore. That corner is so dangerous. The cars are hitting the braking zone there from about 160 miles an hour down to 100 miles an hour. There's hardly any runoff, so you wouldn't be surprised that they don't use. That's the only reason why there's chicanes on that back straight nowadays.
I think we must have missed the incident, or I guess we already saw it. It was in Knickerbrook. Regardless, I think we had a problem with Chris Bauman as well. Similar situation. Coming through Cascades, though, he found understeer and then went off into the grass. Looks like he lost maybe 2 or 3 positions. Just behind him, there was a little bit of a look. That was Barry West, who's got himself up to 11th now. Looking on John Stevens. West having gained 2 positions since the start. And wow, he's got really good pace because he's all over the back of Stevens now.
Yeah, Barry had a good fight with, I think it was John Stevens in the last race. It seemed to be the whole race long. Barry actually got disconnected, like I said, but once he joined back, he was there and he was fighting hard, so this is going to be good. There's a whole massive gaggle of cars now. Look at those.
Ooh, and he's fallen off of Stevens, while Suarez is starting to catch up behind him, along with Robert Plumley, who we mentioned before, probably looking to make up the couple positions that he lost. Jumping up above, you can see quite a train is forming. Keith Herner is in there. Steve Sarles is back behind them. Barry West gets a good exit out of Cascades, so that increases the gap, keeps them safe now that they break into Shell Oil.
Yeah, and let's go through the old adage, let's see how fast these cars are down the straight, because it all depends on the downforce levels the guys have put in. In my view, it looks like Robert Plumley's the itchiest out of these guys. I think he wants that position off of Barry, doesn't he, Joe?
Yeah, I think he's eager to try and sneak through, but he's got to get by Suarez first and also keep Herner behind him. They come up and through Clay Hill into Druids. Very difficult to try and make passes stick into here. We watch from Plumley's perspective, looking up ahead.
Yeah, excuse me, Suarez is in front of Robert Plumley. Nicely through the last turn there for Robert Plumley. Down across the start-finishing line they're going now. Looks like Suarez has got a nice top speed on that car ahead of Robert Plumley there, but nicely across that apex there into turn 1. Nice on-board shot of Robert Plumley. Let's have a look at those steering inputs. Nice and smooth. Yeah, not much playing around on the exit either. Yeah, nice and smooth there for Robert Plumley. I wonder how long it's going to be before the fast guys catch these guys, Joe.
Yeah, you have to wonder. Let's actually check in with our leaders, because Gernot still has a little bit of a challenge from Bycroft. They've left Matt Wood behind. He doesn't seem to have the pace today, but Steve is holding on to the back of Gernot. They still have about half a track to go to get to lap traffic. We watch from on board our current championship leader looking over that rear wing. Bycroft has about 0.3 of a second up to him. And did we have a problem with Robert Simpkins just now? He's suddenly grayed out on my screen. I think it might have been a connection issue, because I don't think he had an incident.
Fastest lap for Bycroft that time by. Would have had a little toe off of Gernot there. But again, from last week, Joe, do you remember I was noting that how smooth Steve drives this car? It was the same again last race. I was just watching on board with him. And if anything, he was smoother than Gernot, especially on the power on the exits of these corners. Gernot was fighting a little bit of oversteer on these exits, and Steve just looked as smooth as silk, like he always does. Just going to be really interesting to see now if Gernot's set dies sort of, just a little bit at the end of the race.
So far, we haven't seen any attempts from that red and white machine, but he stays ever so close.
Yeah, he's quick down the back straight, isn't he, Joe?
Very quick. Yeah, this is looking good for him, because he definitely wants to be able to have that speed on the straights. Meanwhile, Urka's been watching what's been going on with Simpkins. Do you have an update?
Yeah, Joe, Simpkins had some connection problems. He just disappeared from the track, but he's back on, so I suppose some kind of lag going on, but yeah, back to you guys.
There we see Simpkins trying to get a pass on Banker right now. This is for 16th. Hopefully he's got that connection at least somewhat steady now, because Banker won't want to be battling with an invisible car. No luck out of Lodge, up and over Deer Leap and down the front stretch. Just not much of an opportunity. In fact, a little bit slow in a straight line there for Simpkins.
Yeah, he really hammered the first turn though, didn't he? He missed the apex by a good couple of... Oh, he's on the grass there on the entry. Oh, Robert.
And as we're watching this, I'm also keeping half an eye on my screen with that battle for the lead. Actually, Bycroft took a little bit of a look this time, coming down into Knickerbrook. Wasn't a serious one, but he was getting himself into the mirrors of the number one car.
Yeah, we're going to see how good Gernot is today, aren't we, Joe? We know how good he is when he's out clear and he hasn't got anything to worry about behind him. But yeah, Steve's on a mission today.
And I don't think this is championship stuff at all for Bycroft, because he's over 100 points behind Freesia currently. At this point, this is all for the win. This is for the mental war that he wants to take victory in over Gernot Freesia. And did Plumley have another issue here? Where did he go?
Yeah, he's in the pit. It was at Knickerbrook again. Wide on the grass and then straight into the left-hand side tyres.
Unfortunately, don't have a replay of that, but he did take a hard lick. He didn't hit anybody else. His day seems to be done as he's getting repairs. We'll go to Urka if we find he's managed to get it out on track. So we continue to watch the top two. We do have a little bit of a battle happening in 8th. Parigi ahead of Baumann. Baumann not with the best of starts himself, from 7th down to 9th and trying to get one of those back. Baumann definitely much quicker, about 0.4 of a second, almost half a second faster than Parigi. The Italian's going to have his hands full.
Yeah, he's going to have both hands full, because John Stevens was quicker than both of them last time by. Chris Baumann was the quickest out of 3, but John Stevens is catching them. So this could be a three-way battle now. And who's that ahead? That's Nate Brooker, who's going to be lapped by them. So this could be interesting if they catch him at the wrong point.
Yeah, Brooker is the first car to be lapped. And they're going to be able to get him at a decent place, a little bit of an awkward place. But once they hit Cascades, they are free. Unfortunately, can't say the same for John Stevens. He has to wait until after the corner to try and go by Brooker.
Yeah, John Stevens got a bit bulked there, but yeah, no harm there. No foul, really. Nate did all he could there, didn't he? He stayed offline, so fair enough there.
Let's head back to our leaders.
Sorry, Joe. Yeah, let's go back to the lead.
More traffic in front of them in the form of Lauren Doolittle. Doolittle is a regular on this series. We do see him race from time to time, so hopefully shouldn't be too much of an issue for him to be aware and manage to jump out of the way of these two. Still, Steve's going to be looking for any sort of opportunity, maybe a little bit of a distraction for Freesia. Still holding to his racing line. Doolittle, is he going to... Oh, here we go. Perfect placement there, as they're going to be able to sneak by.
Yeah, just watch Gernot on the last turn. He lost the back end coming out of the last turn there. Like I said, his car does seem a little bit more oversteery on power. So I can't wait to see how this unfolds. Steve is actually catching up and having little looks now. Just watching them to the back straight now. See the difference in the top end. Sorry, Joe.
Let's jump a little bit farther back to Martin Granberg in P6, because Timo Vascolampi has been closing in on him. This is for 6th and 7th position. And Vascolampi has got it down to about half a second up to Granberg. Wonder when they will be coming up with some of that lap traffic. In fact, they will have a little bit ahead of them in the form of Needham. Konecki is going to catch him first, just ahead of them as we ride on board with Martin, looking back over the wing.
Yeah, and Peter was quite slow last time by, so I'm just wondering, we don't know what the true pace is really yet. But it'd be interesting to see if they can catch Peter. Martin Granberg just round the back marker now into the last turn. They both go round.
I was going to say he got held up quite a bit.
Yeah,
there.
he did, yeah.
Vascalampi caught up, but the difficulty in passing here illustrated because despite really closing in to within less than a car length, he still wasn't able to send one in.
I'm just keeping an eye on the leaders while you guys are watching Vascalampi there.
Watching from on board the suspension here of Teemu. Seeing him give chase. One of the things that I love about this track, the old school nature, the trees all along, really gives you that sense of speed here, Mick.
Yeah, it does. It's a proper old school track, ain't it, Joe? Oh, Steve Bycroft right on Gernot's gearbox as I'm talking about the track there. Yeah, Steve's all over Gernot now at the moment.
This
Heading
could
into
be
the
the
right
time.
hand and nicely. Yeah, this could. Yeah, just not close enough for the last turn. This is a good passing spot. If you can get a run out that corner before, it's a really good chance to get a passing spot here.
Looked like didn't get it this time. Had a little bit of a connection problem as we saw him blink here on screen. So hopefully he's also got a solid connection. We're not even halfway through this race at this point, and already it's looking like Bycroft's set is starting to come to form. It's pretty cool conditions today. It's only 72 degrees Fahrenheit on the track surface, but regardless, Steve Bycroft has got the temperature into those tires. He's got the pressure on to Freesia, and the multi-time champion is going to have to earn this win.
Yeah, Steve a lot faster there through Shell Oils there, really quick. Just use that camber to get the car turned in. And Gernot now running in the middle of the track now to try and just get inside Steve's head, and nicely through Knickerbrook now for Steve as well. He's even closer this time by. If he can just stay near him, if he can just stay this distance away from him now as they head into the right-hander. A lot of dirt on the track there they both had to go through, and Gernot's a little bit faster now out of that corner, so he's going to be safe for the last turn.
He just can't quite get the opportunity he needs, but I have a feeling that all it will take is a little bit of patience and maybe a bit of traffic. So meanwhile, let's stay on this, but we've got an update from Urka down in pit lane. He's been visited by another driver.
Yeah, Joe. Nate Brooker, he had some damage in his front wing at least. And then he was driving in position 21, I suppose, yeah. Then he just lost the rear in the last corner and crashed into the pit entry. His day is done now. Back to you.
Unfortunate news for Brooker. Down in 5th place. Well, this is Granberg and Vascalampi. They've jumped up a position. Who did they overtake here? Excuse me, no, this is still for 6, rather. This is Granberg holding on to P6, so they haven't gained anything, but they have closed in a little bit on Peter Konieczki. That was slightly farther away when he last looked. Peter may be lacking a little bit of pace here.
Yeah, just watching their lap times from the last lap. Pretty close in lap times, though. Were all three of those guys just heading down into Knickerbrook. Look how fast this is, Joe, this corner. 128 mile an hour at the apex for Team of Vascalampi there at the apex of Knickerbrook.
Certainly seems like I can't fathom trying to race that in modern times without that chicane there. But I'm sure someone would be brave enough. As here's some of that traffic once again. They're going to go by Johnny Bell, who lets them through nicely in Lodge. Up and over Deerleap. Konieczki still holding on to that P5. He's got about 4 seconds up to Julian Fleuret, so really he's not on the hunt for any positions up. He's got to play defense for the remainder of this race.
Yeah, a bit of space between these guys, isn't there, Joe? They're all driving pretty nicely. Not many mistakes out of these guys. They've been around the block. They know what they're doing in this car.
A little bit of a battle going on between West and Suarez once again. Suarez has managed to shake off Plumlee with his incident.
There's a car off in front of him, Joe.
Is that? Oh, I think that was Johnny Bell.
That was Johnny Bell, yeah.
Yeah, just a small off. He knows he's a little off pace, so he's going to slow here over Hilltop. Lets them through. Suarez on the hunt. Barry West just ahead of him. Both of them diving it down.
Barry!
But 2 wheels off. And that's all Suarez needs. West is almost lucky they didn't bend the car there.
I was watching from Suarez's car there, and Barry just went through that corner about 10 miles an hour too fast, and it was just understeer all the way off that corner. But yeah, horrible there for Barry. I'm surprised he kept that on the track, so fair play to him.
Yeah, that's exactly what Plumlee did when he lost his car, so he thankfully did not suffer the same problems. Meanwhile, let's go back to Steve Bycroft. Bycroft's actually got the best run we've seen yet. He's going to get a little bit of a slipstream up to Knickerbrook, but how brave is he going to be? He's going to poke his nose out. Freesia does not cover him off. He doesn't believe that he's actually going to make that move, and he does not. Steve Bycroft, though, got within less than a car length of Gernot Freesia this time. I wonder if something's going to be happening within the next few laps, especially if they come up on that traffic.
I was just going to say, Joe, I was just watching Gernot's placement of his car down the back straight there. He just had it a few feet away from the left-hand side, and I just thought that is the perfect place to put your car. It really messes up with Steve's plan. You know, he doesn't want to go down the inside, but he can't go down the inside. You know, Gernot's just using a bit of a weird line. You know, it just makes you look at the car. You know, and it's just perfect placement that was.
On board, looking back for a moment, Freesia still being hounded. I know we've been watching this battle a lot, but again, this is for the lead of the race, and it has been our closest battle for much of this race so far. Mycroft not nearly as close this time off the corner. Will he start to gain once more? Just a little bit, but definitely farther back. There's some more lap traffic in front of them. Lance Simon this time. Where are they going to catch him? If they catch him in Druids, that might be the bulk that he needs. Actually, Freesia was not as quick out of Knickerbrook as was Steve Bycroft. Can he hold on? He has a few more connection problems. That lap traffic, a bit of a distraction, and keeps him from making an attempt here into Lodge.
Yeah, Steve was so late on the brakes into Knickerbrook that time by, and it just diminished that gap by a massive amount. It's just that Gernot's really good on power out of the next corner, which the name fails me. But yeah, so Steve can't really do anything in the last corner unless he's really close. It must be getting a bit frustrating, but I'm sure Steve's enjoying this. I'm sure they both are, but Steve will be starting to get a bit itchy, I think.
Yeah, that double apexer that leads down to Lodge's Druids. Which,
Druids.
To me, that's like calling other corners the corkscrew. There's only one corkscrew. You can't double up on names.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's such a fast corner. Maybe that's what you end up becoming a Druid after you've been through it a couple of times.
Meanwhile, let's hop back to Konecki. He's lost even more ground. And actually, coming out of Shell Oil, Vascalampi was right on top of Granberg. It almost looks like it hurt him, if anything, because he couldn't carry his speed as well. And Granberg still goes a little bit defensive down the run into Knickerbrook. Despite that, they're going to stay in position, all of them going almost all the way off into the grass down through that corner.
Yeah, I was just watching Granberg from Timu's car now. We're just riding on board Timu's car now. All three of them seem to go on that entry curb on the left-hand side into Knickerbrook, and I haven't even seen Gernot and Steve Bycroft do that. That was right on the limit for all three of these guys.
Clearly, they are pushing. We're watching from over the shoulder of the Finn, Timu Vascalampi, but he's lost that ground that he was so close on with Martin Granberg. Let's stay on here until they go through Shell Oil, because that's where he seemed strong last time. Let's see if that's becoming a pattern. Up and through Island Bend now. Granberg, is he going to lose that ground? Is he a little bit slow through these corners? Oh, he goes wide. That's not going to help.
Yeah, he ran well wide, didn't he? Still able to get a good run off of that corner, though, even if you do run a bit wide, because it's all about the camber in that corner. Let's just watch this entry into Knickerbrook again. There's a little red curb on the left-hand side there. Granberg hit it. Timu decided not to go for it this time by maybe he was thinking, no, that was a little bit pushing it last time by. So yeah, nicely through there for all three of the guys. But they seem to be catching Peter now, don't they, a little bit as we get to the end of the lap.
Yeah, they definitely have. It's down to half a second now. Peter's going to be feeling it. It's always the worst when you can tell that they're chipping away from you bit by bit. This is from on top of the roll bar, looking back from Peter Koneski right now. Not missing anything up at the front. Freisha has responded and pulled a little bit away from Bycroft, so this is one of our best battles that we see on screen. Down and through Cascades, all of them going very wide. That is one place where you can rack up those off tracks.
Yeah, definitely can. I think if you hold it on a tight line on the left-hand side, I think it's the fastest way around there, but not too sure about this car, but other cars that I'm used to, definitely, just as they head down on the back straight again now. They all seem to have about a similar top end, and a lot of downforce these guys must have put in today, because there's not much of a straight. Here we go into Knickerbrook again. Nicely over it, and Granberg really hammers that curb on the left, and look how much he's gained on Peter through that corner.
Is that a danger in this car, that curb? Because I know that sometimes with it being so tightly sprung, you got to watch out for those.
For me, it's just uncharted territory. I'll never touch it in this car. Put it that way.
Some are it's not willing to try and risk it. Oh, Granberg is not looking good out of Lodge. I wonder if Vascalopi might try something up into Old Hall here. He's catching up. Vascalopi, though, it's just not enough braking. Once again, the curb causing a problem for Granberg, but still the track is so narrow that Timu just can't find a way by.
Yeah, he got a wide entry into Cascades there. Just looking for the right front suspension of this car now. Just weaving a little bit, just showing these there in the mirror. Around the left-hander now. Now he's used his camber on this right-hander now.
Can he get the exit off the corner? Still
Granberg's wide again, isn't he?
He likes that fast entry, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him enough off the corner.
This could be on, Joe. Yeah, Granberg's going defensive down the back straight. This is going to take some guts to make a move it. No, he's not going to do it. Oh, Timu's gone a bit. Oh, he had to back out there big time, and it's really hurt him.
I wonder if he washed out because of the lack of downforce, just riding so close to that car ahead.
Yeah, the car did look a little bit upset on the entry. I think maybe he just steered in a bit quick, upset the car. But yeah, very possible for the old washout effect there, off that front wing.
Keeping half an eye on this and half an eye on Bycroft, because he did close it back down, but he hasn't been on the attack quite yet. We'll stay here, and I'll give a shout if I see something happening from Steve out of the corner of my eye. Vascalopi's been giving us some great moments. We come through Cascades once again. We got a little bit of action happening for 12th as well. That's between West and Sarles. Bycroft has now cut it down to less than 0.2 of a second, and they've got more lap traffic in a very horrible spot. This is Dizderevich, and Freisha is held up. Here comes Steve Bycroft. He could have a go if he wants it. He does a little bit, but there's that block once again from Freisha, making sure to keep the opportunities down to nil.
Yeah, brilliant car placement again by Gernot. I was wondering if he was going to have a bit of a compromised line out of the last turn, but looked pretty nicely out of there, and off they go for another lap. What lap are we on now? 22 out of 35, so Gernot's really working hard now, watching those mirrors. He knows Steve's faster than him, I think, today.
Yeah, and if he doesn't know it, then I'd be amazed. The slightly different lines down through Cascades between the two. Oh, and did we have a change between Bauman and Parigi? I think this was in Lodge, and it was lap traffic. Ooh, yeah, Lauren Doolittle's going to make a little bit of contact with Parigi here. Starts to turn in a little early, I'd say.
Yeah, just watching that myself. Yeah, just a little bit of contact between front right of Lauren there and the left rear. Yeah, that's a shame for that battle. Just wanted to see if he spun it after this. He didn't spin it.
We got to go back line up to Steve Bycroft because he's out of spin. He's facing backwards and he's losing positions because he's stuck trying to wait for an opening. When he has to take it onto that access road, get it with a K-turn and get it turned back around. They caught more lap traffic. I thought maybe he'd have an opportunity, but he takes it in too hard. And the rear of the car, you're going to see it just escape him.
Yeah, he was on the limit there of the brakes and, yeah, just turned in and that was it. The car just said, no, I can't go that fast around that corner, Steve. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. It only lost him Matt Wood, actually. They had so much pace that Julien Fleury didn't even catch them. But Wood now finds himself with a second place gifted.
Gurno must be sighing relief there.
Yeah, because it's now about 3.5 seconds back to Wood. I mean, he still can't make a mistake. He's got to keep it planted and pointed forward. But obviously that's a lot easier to deal with. That the number 2 is not in attacking range. And they've got just about 13 laps left to go here. Looks like West still hunting on, or Sarles hunting on West, rather. Let's stay on this battle, but it looks like we got somebody joining our pit reporter, Urka. I see Bradley coming in. I have no idea what happened here.
Yeah, Joe, just to look what happened to him. I don't see any basically reason why. I suppose something with the suspension is possible. If you guys notice something, yeah, I don't see any replay of that.
Yeah, I'm not catching anything on mine, so odd situation for Joe Bradley. It was a 34-second stop. Wonder if maybe he had enough off tracks, maybe he had to take a penalty. We'll have to look into that later. Now, we were watching Vascalampi and Granberg and Konecki before, and they're still together, but they've started to separate. This is for 5th place. They've also they've lost Bauman and Parigi that were behind them. Although Parigi is trying to recatch on Bauman as well. You can see up at the top, Frisch is not resting on his laurels now that he's lost Steve Bycroft, set another fastest lap. Love the elevation change around this circuit. Just some wild dips and crests that the drivers have to deal with. Certainly need that downforce around here.
Just watching Timo there on that last lap, he was half a second quicker than 2 guys in front that time by.
Did something happen with Fleury and Bycroft here? Oh, and Bycroft is off again. Steve Bycroft loses more positions. Oh, and let's see. Fleury made a move on him and actually almost shoved him out of the way. Let's see, did this... Oh, this started...
Yeah, because it was for position, wasn't it?
This started way back, actually, into Cascades. Bycroft is going to catch the curb. This is the second half of it here. He's coming back on track after recovering. Fleury is brave enough to keep it to the inside, and Bycroft tries to stay with it, but unfortunately... his bravery outpaced his adhesion, and he thankfully didn't hit the wall out of it. If we back up more, this all started with a clip of the curb. Nope, looks like we're going to come back live. So we're going to have to come back live here for this battle for 5th now between Konecki and Granberg.
Yeah, and Steve Bycroft isn't actually that far ahead of this battle now.
He's got to try and keep this together. And let's stay on this battle because it's close. But when we get an opportunity, I want to get a close-up on Bycroft's car because I thought I saw a little bit of damage on the front wing.
Yeah, oh, there's a lot of damage on the front wing. Yeah, I'm just watching it now, Joe. Yeah, so this could be
yeah,
this could be a bit of Yeah, it could be a bit of a battle brewing for 4th place here.
So we'll keep a watch to see if they start to run him down. Now I wonder if that's because of the contact with the curb that caused him to go off at Cascades. Down through Druids, through these three, all of them a little bit wide on the exit. Konecki dealing with Granberg, who's dealing with Vascalampi as they accordion together into the braking. Now under 10 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying watching all three of these guys battle. They're really on the limit, aren't they, Joe? It's just brilliant to watch. Just watching Timu there all over the curb on the exit now. See how they enter Cascade nicely for all three of them. I think out of the three of them, Granberg looks the fastest. Do you agree, Joe?
I'd have to agree. I feel like he's been putting a lot of pressure on Konecki. Speaking of being the fastest, the good news for Bycroft fans is he ran a 14.4 last time compared to the 15.1 of Konecki. So I think Steve's damage isn't holding him up too badly that he'll get caught.
Right, maybe so. He should have used a bit less downforce than to begin with.
So unfortunately for Granberg, he falls off of Konecki as they now swing it through Knickerbrook. Vascalampi closed in and fell back once more. It's just been a tantalizing yo-yo between these three all race long.
Granberg was really wide there in the right-hander there, and see how they enter this braking zone into the last turn. Timu really good on the brakes there. Just runs a little bit wide off the apex and then loses the back end on the power out of the last turn. Over the line they're going now. Nothing in it between the three guys. Nice wide entry for Granberg into the first turn there. Into Cascades now.
One mistake is all it's going to take.
Yeah, that's it, Joe. That's it. I was thinking that myself.
Another fastest lap of the race for Gernot Friesche as all this is going on. Continuing to pull away from Matt Wood. Down to 8 laps to go. Credit to Wood, though. He really jumped away from the rest of the field. Bycroft was as well. The top three were just gapping everybody because Julien Fleuret, 20 seconds back from Matt Wood alone, a whole 24 away from Friesche.
Yeah, it's a very big gap. I'm just watching a really good battle here for 19th. I don't know if we can go there. David Butelaar was all over the back of Todd Herner now. They had to get out of the way for, I don't know if that was Steve Bycroft going through. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Butelaar on the outside of the last turn now.
Herner's got his hands full. Butelaar, who qualified in 18th, is just about where he started. He wants that spot back. He's in 19th right now. Oh, a little bit of a balk off of Old Hall, and that interrupts his momentum badly.
Yeah, Todd's running really wide out of these corners now. He's really got to calm down and keep it together because Butelaar's looking beautiful.
Well, and they have a complication coming their way. Peter Konecki, Granberg, and Vascalampi are quickly approaching. And it looks like Butelaar. Well, I thought he was going to let them through. He's going to be very, very sportsmanlike here. He's giving up a great battle to let them by. Good job.
He's let all of them by. Fair play to him.
Unfortunately, this puts him way behind Todd Herner. Of course, Todd might have to do the same thing here unless he's going to cause a headache for Peter, who slides his way into Druids, losing a little bit of that front downforce. All right, he's going to pull off to the side. Herner lets one through. Oh, 2-3, baby. That's certainly awkward, and the battle's going to be back on with Butelaar.
Yeah, exactly the same. I can't believe that happened like that.
That was a little hairy, though, down in the lodge.
Just watching Butelaar now on board with his roll bar there. Just heading down the stairs. Oh, he was on the grass in front. Todd Herner there, didn't like that. Don't know how he kept that on the track.
So, David Butelaar giving chase once again to Todd Herner. Fair play to both of them, letting the leaders through and heading back into their battle. Though having trouble with his gearbox in the process.
Just watching them down the back straight now, see how they get into Knickerbrook.
So as we jump back to Gernot Frische with less than 5 laps left, he's been extending it over Matt Wood. It's up to 4 seconds. It's been small increments, though. Hasn't really been gapping him by huge margins, just maybe a tenth at a time.
I think it's the nature of the track, isn't it, Joe? I think the lap times do tend to be quite close here. Sort of the same thing as Watkins Glen, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That battle a little bit behind closes in once more, just teasing us. And Peter Konieczny has Granberg closer than Granberg has Vascalopi behind him. They come out of Cascades, but a good exit for Peter, going to keep him safe as they head towards Shell Oil.
And they're just going to catch a back marker just off. They're just going to catch him on the back straight, so looks like they're going to get through nice and clean. Yeah, back marker gets out of the way nicely. Still nothing in it between these guys. Fair play to all three of them. They've driven really well today.
Bad news for Budelar fans. He unfortunately hit the wall coming out of Old Hall recently, so that took him away from the battle with Herner. We got to stay on this, though. It was very, very close coming out of Knickerbrook, and both of them once again struggling for grip coming through Druids. I'm amazed that we haven't seen any overtakes among these three, as close as they've been.
Yeah, I thought we was going to get a lot of side-by-side battles with these three. It's quite hard to believe that they're all exactly where they started at. Like I say, really great driving from all three of them to be able to continue this battle and hold, for Peter to hold the guys off. Like I said before, I think Martin Granberg's just slightly got an edge on pace, if anything at all. So yeah, fair play to Peter now.
Peter certainly had his qualifying down, because remember, he started in third, but he fell back to fifth, and he's been dealing with a lack of pace here because he's been under attack for a long time.
Still feels the need to run a defensive line, trying to break that toad, back into Knickerbrook again. Peter runs a little bit wide, and Martin Granberg really nailed it that time. So he's gapped himself from the car behind, and he's just caught Peter up a little bit. Nowhere near enough to get him in the last turn, though.
It's going to take a little bit of a special run to try and make an attack, and he's running out of opportunities because they're going to get the 2 to go this time by. No, this would be 3 to go this time by for them.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, Joe, I just thought to myself, I really hope one of these three drivers doesn't try a dive bomb. It'll be such a horrible end to a good battle, won't it?
This is our closest fight on the track. The others have mostly spread apart. So it's a duel to see who can crack into the top 5 and try and peel that away from Peter Konieczny. The Illinois driver has at least been putting on a good defense. You have to give him credit for that, despite us maybe being a bit disparaging on his race pace and his race setup. As they come down, they spread apart once more, coming up and over Hilltop. Only 14 cars remain on the lead lap out of 28 starters, so half the field has gone a lap down or DNF today. We've lost quite a few. Needham is gone, and Nate Brooker is DNF'd. We mentioned Plumley earlier on. Cole Farrer, who we saw in the very first lap, have problems. He's DNF'd today. Same with Sam Doby. And I believe Lauren Doolittle has been taking repairs for quite a while. We didn't quite see if that was related to the contact with Bycroft, but Doolittle might be done today as well. And Steve Bycroft caught up to Julian Fleury. Yes, he has. Wow. So the damage on the front wing, not slowing down that number 3 at all.
Yeah, it's a podium spot as well for Steve if he gets it. There's just one more lap to go after this one, isn't there? So this is,
there you go.
He's got it.
A wide exit for Julian Fleury is going to give Steve Bycroft the podium spot.
Julian might go for it again. No, he's not got the top speed, has he, there?
He was just a lot slower, unfortunately. White flag is out for our leader, but the battle still close here between Konecki, Granberg, and Vaskilampi. Granberg a little slow here coming through Clay Hill and Water Tower. Comes down into Lodge. Nobody really going to be close enough between these three at this point. So got half a lap to go for our leader, so we can hold on this for a little longer.
Yeah, Peter's going to be, sorry Joe, I was just going to say, Peter's going to be really pleased about holding these two guys off, I think, for the whole race. I mean, he messed his start up, but to be able to be in a battle where guys are really on your
he's still got
really
to
well
hold on
done
for a while, but right now the number one car is going to take yet another victory here on a Sunday. This is going to be number 7, I believe, for Gernot Friesche, the multi-time champion, does it again and wins at Oulton Park. Wood's going to follow him home, and it looks like it's a distant third for disappointed Steve Bycroft.
Yeah, unlucky for Steve today.
And Fleury. Whoa, Fleury made a mistake. Actually, Fleury might lose a position here. Fleury must have damage because he's falling down the order as Peter Konecki now moves up into 4th, and Martin Granberg is going to follow through. Vaskilampi will as well.
Fleury's out of fuel.
Oh, no.
That's painful.
How did you run out of fuel? That's not usually something that happens in this series, is it?
No, it's well advertised how much fuel you need for these races. You've only got to ask, but yeah, that's all that happened there.
That means with him, he can't even push it to the line. He's going to fall to 14th. Everybody is going to bump up a position on the lead lap. Just gutting for Fleury after what I would say was a fantastic drive. And that explains why he got caught by Bycroft. He had to slow up. He knew he was short and he was trying to stretch it to the end, but he was half a lap shy. We're going to take a break and try to assess all that went down here today. Stick around because we've got the official results as well as driver interviews coming your way. Welcome back to Oulton Park Circuit. It was an interesting one to say the least, with some great battles throughout, but unfortunately We didn't get a change for the lead. Still, the pressure was on, and it was intense. Gernot Friesche withstood that pressure once again to take the victory. Matt Wood wasn't the one applying that pressure. He took second place. It was Steve Bycroft, who still worked his way back to third and was within a second for almost the whole race, really, before his own mistake caught him out. Peter Konecki managed to slip into fourth after all was said and done, himself withstanding pressure from Martin Granberg, who took a top five. Timo Vaskalampi and Granberg not able to change positions all race long. Vaskalampi finished in sixth. Chris Baumann, despite a mistake, came home in seventh, with John Stevens finishing in eighth, and Alessandro Parigi falling backwards. A little bit of a problem with a back marker, unfortunately, sending him to ninth, and Pablo Suarez rounds out your top 10.
Barry West in 11th spot there. He'll be glad he didn't get disconnected again today in the broadcast race. Keith Herner there in 12th spot. Steve Stiles in 13th and Julian Flore 14th. Did he run out of fuel, Joe? Was that the guy who ran out of fuel? Julian Flore. Yeah. Robert Simkins in 15th. Daniel Banker in 16th. Alan Dzarevic in 17th. Todd Herner in 18th. David Beautiful in 19th. And Joe Bradley in the top 20.
Everyone from there on down, 2 laps down or more. So a lot of our drivers that wound up with problems or was lacking pace today. No lack of pace for Gernot Friesche, but certainly not the quickest car out on track for part of the race. Gernot, you had Steve all over you, and I'm really impressed that you managed to keep him from making an overtake.
It was a tough race until Steve got into trouble. I knew his race pace was really good because it was just the same the races before, and this was a really tight one.
It really was, and you kept teasing us out there, both you and Steve. We thought that maybe a pass attempt would happen. He kept trying to get in your mirrors. When you saw him do that, did you think it was going to be a serious attempt, or did you know that he wasn't actually going to send one in?
Well, it's always hard to say because, of course, he has to try to go for a gap. On the other hand, Steve is a very safe driver. He doesn't usually do stupid things, so if he doesn't pass, it's what I thought one.
Clearly, all the time that you two have been driving with one another, there's a lot of experience and knowledge about how the other behaves. So that certainly gives us a good show out on track. It looked like coming in that we knew that Steve would be quick because we saw in the race previous earlier this morning that he seemed fast compared to you. Knowing that, did you make any changes to your setup coming into the race, or did you keep it the same and knew that if you got the pole, you'd be able to hold him behind?
Yeah, I was really, really happy with my setup. So I took the same one as yesterday, and yesterday's was also good. On the other hand, I don't know what the differences between setups from me and Steve were. Maybe he was running a little bit more downforce because he really had no issues in the wake. And I, on the other side, had no big issues on the long straight. So yeah, just try to keep it clean and hope that Steve wouldn't do something extraordinary.
Well, he wasn't able to get any sort of extraordinary pass in on Gernot Friesche. That was Gernot, our winner once again here today for win number 7 out of 9 rounds. Up next, I believe Barry West is ready to talk to Mick Claridge.
Hi Barry, how you doing?
Hi Mick, fine, thanks. Yeah, that was a much better race than the best race this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got disconnected out of the earlier race, maybe due to the weather in England. I'm not too sure, but just go through your race highlights today.
Yeah, no, just I had a hardware problem just when I was waiting to start the race in the last race. But this one, reasonable qualifying. Got past Pablo at the beginning, and then managed to pull away a little lead. But then I got caught back marker, which costs you big time here, isn't it? You know, you know what it's like. He did the right thing, but just missed out the lift and couldn't go for it. And then there's pressure. Pablo put a bit of pressure on. I made a slight error at Knickerbrook, which just after he got past the back marker on the way into Knickerbrook, and then he got past, and then I was pressuring him all the race. He pulled away a bit, and then he got caught with some back markers. Then towards the end, I was catching him up. But on lap 17 was nearly a race-ending incident for me. I came round, Lake Bend, down to the hairpin, and I touched the grass, and I've never survived touching the grass there before. I just happened to slam the brakes on when it was on the track as it careened across the track and made it straighten up again. But that was a hairy moment. That's a good job with these sims and not real life.
Yeah. Listen, next week we've got Zolder. Just a quick word. What do you think about that place?
I like that place. Yeah, I do really like that place. It's just qualifying. My weakness is qualifying. I just need to qualify more because race pace is not too bad usually. But let's hope that's all my bad races at the season end now. I mean, I've lost 1,000 IR points this season, and it's just been horrendous. So hopefully this has turned the corner and we can start, getting these sort of positions back again.
Yeah, great stuff. Listen, mate, thanks for coming in today. 11th spot today, so not too bad, not too good, really. Maybe you're looking for better next week, but thanks for coming in.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers.
That looks like that is going to be it for our interviews today. Don't have anybody else in the waiting, so we're going to close up with a big thank you to the Lotus 79 community for bringing us back for another season of coverage, but also a thank you to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. And thanks to the team today, Nick, Sean, Dougie, and Urka. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We've also got social media that you should subscribe to. Twitter is @GSR Channel, Facebook is Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram is GSRC_Gram. If you'd like to support us, we've got a merchandise store linked below in the YouTube description. That is gsrc.storenvia.com if you want to type it in yourself. And make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because we've got that big red button that says subscribe, and you can't miss it if you haven't clicked it yet. Next race, as we mentioned, heading over to Belgium for the other Belgian track, Zolder. That'll be Sunday, February 15th, rather, at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. But we have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. See you on the track.